Hey everyone, welcome back to Paper Therapy with Amy. So I'm gonna go with these pictures. They're just gorgeous. This is along the California coast by San Francisco. My husband and I, when we arrived there, took a drive and we just both love the ocean. Partly, I think, because we're landlocked here, so we don't get to see the ocean that much. So the first thing I did was look through my paper packs, and I have this Isabella workshop kit that I bought on sale. It's kind of not, it's pretty pink and florally, but when it was on sale, I thought, why not? And I've actually used it quite a bit. So that's the time to try out things you think you might not like, but it has a little bit of pink and yellow in it. And then this word sunshine was in here in a die cut. There's actually two. I think you're supposed to offset them, punch them both out, but I'm gonna save the orange one for another time. And I've done some sanding on here. Thanks to Jessica for teaching me to put a sanding disc on one of these. You can buy them from Tim Holtz, but I just did a DIY. I circle punched this out and glued this on here with the Barely Art glue and put it under something heavy for a day. And now I have a sanding disc and it's awesome. The other paper pack that really kind of goes well with this is this one here, Memory Lane. And so I'm thinking I want to use some of this one, and I think I'm going to add in the light side of pine, which is kind of a shade darker yet than sage, but I think I'll need a dark color to anchor these photos. So I'm planning to do a 2-page spread just because they're such beautiful pictures and I want to have some fun with embellishing and not having to squeeze so many pictures on the page. So I'm just going to bring in my Versamats. I just like to get them ready with White Daisy cardstock. If I don't end up with the White Daisy underneath, it's a little bit easier. I think I'm just gonna go with a side-to-side layout, and I think this, because the coast is here, should go over here, and then maybe one of us walking on the beach on each side, and then maybe something like this. I feel like this one needs to go in the middle. Yeah, I like it better in the middle. So, and then I'm thinking the title could just go right over top of where like my photo almost gets white there. So that's kind of where I'm starting at. That's my starting point. I'm not sure if I'm gonna come up a bit. I think I might, because I did see a layout with photos like this and there was like flags under each one. And I thought that was really cute. So I might start with that to kind of see how I like it and then see where I can go from there. I'm cutting these different papers to 4-inch strips, and then I'm going to dovetail them and slide one under each photo, so I have like a banner coming from the bottom of each photo. I did find an inspiration layout on Pinterest that kind of was a jumping off point for me. And there was in the background a line going completely diagonal across the whole page. So I decided to give that a try. So I'm just going to use one of my sanding tools previously from Close to My Heart and kind of cut a groove in here with it. And once I do that, I'm going to tear it or kind of bend it along that line and just kind of really roughly cut it. So I tried out a few different scenarios. I had a piece of yellow paper I knew I wanted to kind of use in the background, but I only had one sheet of that yellow paper left from the Memory Lane paper packet, so I couldn't really start on that paper. So it was easier just to start on the White Daisy background and then cut the yellow piece of paper diagonally as well, and then have them meet in the middle. So I'm just trying it out here to see if I actually like it before I cut it. And I decide that I do like it. That sunshine is a little bit of a different yellow, and I'm going to fix that problem right shortly by switching it out to the orange sunshine. I do find I prefer the green as on the bottom as a mirror image to each other, so that's where it's going to end up. Here, I'm just distressing this cardstock with that sanding disc, that tool that I made, or the disc that I made that I could attach to my tool. And I'm just really distressing it, showing that white core and going all the way around the edge, sanding it. And I'm going to do that with the pattern paper as well, taking some of the pattern off, just giving it a real distressed look. I found a couple of zip strips in kind of a rainbow color that looks really nice with this layout and kind of combines all the colors. I'm kind of using the color on the flower I took a picture of there as inspiration for the colors that I want to use in the layout. So it has peaches and pinks and of course the green leaves. So it gives the illusion of kind of a banner because I'm using the zip strip as my clothesline, let's say, or my string. And then I'm using the pictures as part of the banner and having banner pieces poking from underneath and having the pictures not be perfectly symmetrical or straight, but having them kind of go in an arc. Once I have all that decided, that's kind of it for the patterned paper, and I'm gonna glue these down and then move on to embellishing. Oh, but one second here. Something about that word sunshine is really bothering me. It's just not quite a warm enough yellow. It doesn't look quite right. So I'm bringing out my sheet with the punch outs from this Isabella workshop, and I see there is another one on there in orange, and that orange kind of matches the tangerine in this particular paper pack, which I think is tangerine. It really matches the orange flowers on the floral background paper. I will distress this title with the same sanding disc and get it a little bit less bright orange. It just kind of tones it back and gives it a distressed look. I'm also going to pop it up on little pop-up squares that I have. It's a bit tedious to pop all the little bits underneath, but it does work and it looks quite cute. I finished all my distressing and I did a lot of sanding around the edges here, and I've glued this, not the pictures, but I've glued the background down. And I thought about using some of these flowers because they kind of similar to these flowers here. And I tried them on here and I do like them, but I do find them to be a little solid. So I was wondering if it would look a bit nicer if I used these special papers from two different specials that we had. So this one here is from a long time ago and I can't quite remember that special, but these ones here are from the Dream Makers special. So this is the same color, but I thought there might be some variation. It's the same color as this. And then I'll probably do some sanding as well, but this paper is kind of already patterned for me. So I'm gonna try cutting some of the flowers out in these two papers and see what I think about that. So I've prepared all my bits and pieces and I'm gonna distress them with a bit of sanding and cut these little leaves down into smaller pieces to tuck behind. These are the layered flowers thin cuts that I used to make these, and at the time of filming they are still available, so if they're still available as I post this video, I will link them down below. I've chosen two particular flowers from this thin cut set with the leaves and the flower centers, and I'm offsetting the petals a little bit on the bigger flower to make it look like it has more petals. I find that they complement the little flowers in the patterned paper and the flower in my picture quite well. I'm going for 3 areas of flowers plus the title, and I'm putting 2 flowers and several leaves in each cluster. I added 3 of the smaller flowers to the title, so that cluster does look a little bit different. I'm happy I chose to add in the pine color. I used the back side of the cardstock in the background, and then I used the pattern kind of pine cardstock that comes from, I think it was the Hope and Kindness paper special. It's kind of a patterned cardstock with a bit of a texture to it. I'm just really liking how these little bits of green kind of anchor the layout, and I always think a dark color really looks nice. So I'm just preparing here to add in the rest of my title. It's going to be Walking on Sunshine. My husband and I both, as I said, love to go and look at the ocean whenever we're close enough to do so. And so we headed out to the ocean as soon as our plane landed and we saw that the sun was shining and we had a rental car. We went to the ocean and we watched people surf, and then we drove the coast and found a seafood restaurant and had seafood for supper. And it was really a nice first afternoon for our trip when we went to the San Francisco Bay Area. You'll have noticed I just used a stamp to add a little sprig to the background. So Then I have another layer kind of on the page, something that's right stamped onto the page, and then the layered flowers kind of coming in with leaves and flowers on top. This paper packet also has these pretty word stickers, and a lot of them were quite fitting, so I put one kind of coming out from each cluster. I also added a couple of little green stickers to add in the date and maybe a little bit more information, although I don't have a ton to say. I could definitely add some strip journaling if I decide to do that. While I'm adding these last finishing dots, I want to say thanks again for stopping by and hope you were inspired by this layout. And if you were, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. I did a lot of sanding on this layout and it's kind of in the sunlight, so hopefully it doesn't look too dusty to you. I did try to dust it off a bit, but I'm going to bring you in for a close-up. I'm going to put the date and maybe a little bit of journaling here, like California coast near San Francisco or something like that. Because it's mostly just coastline that we drove. I'm trying to make shadow with my body. It's hard when I've got it up so close. Down here it's in shadow. I've been moving my shadow creating board all day to try and keep it in shadow for you. But it's nice when it's so well lit in here because you can really see what I'm doing. And I do like, this one's quite subtle, but this one here is a little bit more noticeable. My little sprigs from the background. It's just like having another layer kind of showing. I kind of like that. There's that cluster right there. So if you get this kind of cardstock in a paper kit that is kind of, sometimes we have specialty paper kits that have cardstock that's patterned or whatever. It's great for this cut type of thing because you don't have to splatter or pattern it yourself. It's ready to go. The leaves are made out of that cardstock from an older paper pack. There is the finished layout. I hope you enjoyed watching this layout come together. Thanks for watching. Bye.